Problem 4, solving a real-world problem. And this one's about business. You manage a clothing store and budget $6,000 to restock 200 shirts. You can buy t-shirts for $12 each, polo shirts for $24 each, and rugby shirts for $36 each. If you want to have twice as many rugby shirts as polo shirts, how many of each type of shirt should you buy? First, relate the quantities. T-shirts plus polo shirts plus rugby shirts equals 200. Rugby shirts equals 2 times the number of polo shirts. 12 times t-shirts plus 24 times polo shirts plus 36 times rugby shirts equals 6,000. Then we'll define variables. Let's let x be the number of t-shirts, y the number of polo shirts, and z the number of rugby shirts. We'll now pair our variables with the relations above to begin to write a system of equations. So we'll write equation 1, x plus y plus z equals 200. Equation 2, z equals 2 times y. And equation 3, 12 times x plus 24 times y plus 36 times z equals 6,000. Step 1. Since 12 is a common factor of all the terms in equation 3, we can write a simpler equivalent equation. That can be labeled equation 4 here, which is x plus 2y plus 3z equals 500. Step 2. Substitute 2y for z in equations 1 and 4 and simplify to find equations 5 and 6, shown below. So substituting 2y for z in equation 1, we now have x plus y plus 2y equals 200, which simplifies to x plus 3y equals 200. That's equation 5, and notice it's an equation that only has x and y for variables. And then in equation 4, substituting, we find x plus 2y plus 3 times 2y equals 500, and that simplifies to equation 6 here, x plus 8y equals 500. So equations 5 and 6 form a new system that only have variables x and y, so we can solve that system using traditional methods. And that's step 3. We'll write equations 5 and 6 as a system and solve for x and y. Considering the system of equations, x plus 3y equals 200 and x plus 8y equals 500, we notice the same number of x's in both equations, so subtracting one equation from the other will eliminate x's and leave us with an equation that only has y's. Doing that, we find 5y equals 300, so y equals 60. Next, we'll substitute this value for y into either one of those two equations, in this case 5, and find x plus 3 times 60 equals 200, so x equals 20. We now know y, we know x, so we need to find z. We'll substitute the values 20 and 60 for x and y respectively into one of the original equations, in this case equation 2, z equals 2y. Substituting 60 for y, we find z equals 2 times 60, and that's 120. So now we can state you should buy 20 t-shirts, 60 polo shirts, and 120 rugby shirts. Your turn. Business. You manage a clothing store and budget $5,400 to restock 200 shirts. You can buy t-shirts for $12 each, polo shirts for $24 each, and rugby shirts for $36 each. If you want to have the same number of t-shirts as polo shirts, how many of each shirt should you buy?